Then they closed it out by showing off the legendaries of this game. They're called Zacian. I don't know how do you pronounce that? Anyway, and also Zamazenta. Those names suck. It sounds like what a 13-year-old thinks sounds cool. By the way, no offense to any 13-year-olds listening to our podcast. I'm just saying that's what 13-year-old me would have come up with when I was always making up characters and drawing and all that
Begins
stuff.
with a Z. It's going to be edgy and epic.
Oh my God, I'm keeping that in. You screwed up both of those words, you fool.
I mean, I kind of assumed that the names
No,
were gonna
keep
be very
going. Keep
lackluster.
screwing up more words.
Listen, of the two of us, you should not be throwing any stones in this glass house, okay?
Listen, my glass house is full of broken windows. I don't even care anymore.
Your glass house is just a wire frame at this point.
Hello, my beautiful Sobbles, Grookeys, and Scorbunnies. Welcome to the Nintendo Everything Podcast, episode 32. I am your host, Oni Dino, and with me, I have a rejected starter fire Pokemon. He used to be called Dump Scorch. Now we call him Galen.
Dump Scorch, Dump Scorch.
What was your old Pokemon name? I just remembered that. It was like 5 episodes ago.
Oh god, I have no idea.
Oh man. But I think Dump Scorch is also a pretty good one.
You know what? Whatever makes you happy.
It can't be that bad. Reference to a 20-year-old song. Stupid. References for the sake of references because we don't have jokes in this episode. Hey everybody!
Hi, how's it going?
This is the pre-E3 show, which is very exciting because I am going to be attending E3, so we have lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of leaks or manufactured leaks or whatever have been coming out in the last couple of days. Things are probably happening as we are recording this, so tons of stuff to talk about. If we had to talk about everything, we would probably be here another 3 hours. I can't extend each episode by an entire hour. We did a 2-hour episode last week. I ain't got the time for that. I got to pack for E3, all right? So in this episode, we're going to be talking all about the Pokemon Direct that came out this week for Pokemon Sword and Shield. We're also going to be talking about a bunch of different announcements that have been happening in the last couple of days. And Galen and I are also going to be talking about our E3 wish lists. So what's realistic, what's not realistic, what we just want to see because whatever. Throw it to the wall, see what sticks, and be ridiculous. Like, let's just have fun. Right? And then Galen, do you have any predictions? Yes.
Maybe a few. Maybe a few.
Ooh, I can't wait until the end of the episode. Not really.
Well, if you wait till the end of the episode, then that means, you get to go pack for E3.
So let's move on. Let's go through a very quick adventure log and go straight into all this delicious news. So Galen, you have not been playing nothing, but you have been seeing something.
I have finally gone to go see the new Detective Pikachu movie.
Great. How was it?
Yeah, I have some feelings.
I'm glad that you said the full word this time.
Yeah. I will start by saying I know this is a low bar to strive for, but I think it is one of the best video game movies that I have seen.
That's what I've been hearing. That's good news.
Yes, the movie is absolutely gorgeous, and you can actually feel that there was a lot of great care that was given towards the source material. Like, I actually feel like this is a good representation of a world that Pokemon would be living in.
Cool. Why do you say that?
A lot of it has to do with like the tone and the interaction of the characters with the Pokemon, the way that they kind of subtly implement Pokemon into everyday life, and not just like, hey, there's a Machamp that's, acting as a cross guard, and it's really funny because there's a Snorlax that fell asleep in the middle of the street, which does happen. But also there's like, random swarms of different types of Pokemon birds that are flying around, as you would see them in a regular area. I think it was a very smart idea to kind of focus on this as a, having it being in a city for a majority of the movie does really kind of limit the wildlife aspect of having a place where Pokemon would be in.
Well, I think that it's probably, I dare say, more visually interesting to see how Pokemon are integrated with human life and like busy human life in a city.
Yeah.
I think there's more room to play with things there.
Absolutely. The way that the movie was shot cinematically, I definitely do appreciate like the settings that they used. I loved the lighting that they used, which feels like a really weird thing to say in a movie, but when you start to watch it, it gives the movie a serious tone without being condescending. Like, it's not, hey, we're trying to be the dark and gritty Pokemon movie and we're going to make everything black. No, there are some nighttime shots that are in there when that kind of corresponds with like the tone of how the movie is going. Then there are some sadder, more realistic parts that are shot at night, and I feel like that correlation works really well, and it's not overdone. It's very subtle.
That's good.
My problem was when everybody actually opened their mouths and started talking.
The acting's not good? Or is it just like acting that's very much directed at children?
It's acting that is very much directed at children.
Okay.
I will say that Ryan Reynolds did a fantastic job. Like the jokes and his timing on the jokes and everything like that, and even his like more serious moments, he's a good actor. I mean, he was a good choice on this. I can see why they thought to go with him over Danny DeVito. But I also really like the character, oh god, what's the word that I'm looking for? The interplay between the main character Tim and Pikachu. Like their dynamic seemed very natural in a lot of parts. It's when you get to some of the other characters, like the quote unquote villains that show up in this, you can kind of tell that they are villains like right off the bat, even before the main dilemma has been introduced to the movie.
Oh, okay.
Like you can tell, oh, this guy's probably going to be a bad guy sometime later down the movie.
Yeah. It sounds like, I mean, because this is a movie for kids. We all have to remember that, we have to remember who the audience is.
Absolutely. The main heroine was just exhaustingly annoying.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and she's supposed to be this reporter, but then you find out that she's really just an intern and she's trying to follow a story to get like her big scoop. But she plays it off like, I'm a serious person. You need to pay attention to me. And like over exemplifying it to the point where it's cartoony in a bad way. Yeah. Other than that, I thought it was a good movie.
It was fun. You like the Pokemon designs, all that?
Oh yeah. I loved seeing the Pokemon that were there, and I felt like the way that the Pokemon moved and interacted in the movie were what my childhood imagination kind of imagined that they would be. There's a better way to say that, but I'm going to leave it.
So articulate, a sage of our time. You're a Mark Twain. Sort of on the topic of movies, I saw Godzilla.
Oh, was that the one with Ken Watanabe?
Yeah. I saw the Pokemon conference last week and I was like, must see Gojira.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, apparently they washed my brain. I think that was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
I mean,
in a world where X-Men Apocalypse exists, you're saying that's the worst movie?
Oh my god, on that topic.
I knew that was going to get something out of you.
I have been hearing about Dark Phoenix being the worst X-Men movie, even worse than Last Stand recently. And all I am doing is sitting here high-fiving myself and a million angels being like, I told you bitches so. I'm not like enjoying the schadenfreude of it though so much because it's just like, I don't like the Phoenix and the Dark Phoenix sagas being ruined in the public psyche. So I'm still not happy, but...
Well, when it comes to movies like that, I feel like something as, and I'm going to say this in a non-hyperbolic format,
okay.
The epicness of the storyline, I feel is something that needs to be earned. Like, if you look at the whole thing...
Yeah, of course. They cut out 3/4 of the entire story, and they were, like, expecting it to be good.
Mm-hmm.
With actors that aren't good for the roles that they're playing, like Sophie Turner.
Exactly. Well, and then you also have things like... You know, I know that this is low-hanging fruit to poke at, but look at Avengers Endgame and how you went through 10 years worth of Marvel movies just to get to the stakes and the emotional turmoil that happened in both Infinity War and Endgame. But you're condensing that entire thing within one movie and making subtle nods, and it's more Easter eggs than anything else in the other ones. In regards to the X-Men movies.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are you talking about now?
Yeah.
Anyway, this is not the movie cast. This is the Nintendo Everything cast. So, yeah, I hated Godzilla. The Godzilla, I mean, the kaiju parts were cool, but there was so very little of it. They kept cutting back to these characters that I hated and I don't care about. So, anyway, that's just my general feelings on it. If you want to talk to me about it a little bit more on Twitter, go ahead and do that at Oni_Dino. I'm going to save the podcast for the actual podcasting of the Nintendo video game stuff.
So you're saying wait for a rent.
I'm saying do whatever you want. I'm not telling anybody what to do with their time or money on movies. I don't know movies very well. Like, and also I'm not a huge Godzilla fan. Like Godzilla, I like enough. I like kaiju and I really like monsters and monster design. Like creature design is one of my favorite things, but I just don't know very much about that world. But what I can tell you is that those are the worst characters and the worst editing. Ugh, sucks. Sorry, I was thinking about choking myself until I passed out in the theater.
But
that's what I wanted to do.
That escalated quickly.
I don't remember what it was that happened in the film, but I actually face palmed. Something happened in the film where I slapped myself in the face.
That's impressive.
God, I hated that movie. Anyway, video games. So I have not been doing too much because I've been really busy with work lately and the E3 pre-prep stuff, but I've been playing a little bit of Knights of Azure 2, Boobies of the New Moon, which I was playing last week, and I got a little bit more into it, and I am...
Oh, did you now?
I got a little bit more into the boobs. I am very happy to announce that the dialogue did go a little bit further into the relationship direction. Again, still not a poster child for LGBTQ inclusion in video games or representation, but it is still cute. They talked about how this woman really loved this woman, and it's very precious in very small moments. In other moments, it's just pure jank AF, and thankfully I do appreciate jank and also anime trash character designs. I like all that stuff. It's like a McDonald's hamburger. Speaking of the designs, they're very skimpy and like their boobs are all over the place. Side boob, under boob, cleavage, every part that you could possibly see. It's fine. I like it actually because it's creative. I don't know if I would call it creative, but it's fun. There. Mm-hmm. It strikes a gay chord inside of my rainbow colored heart. By the way, forgot to mention that it's Pride Month. That's great. So very wonderful that I'm playing this somewhat lesbian-y game on Pride Month.
There you go. It's thematic.
But I mean, that was unintentional. But going back to like the design and maybe some of the animations, there are some animations when your main character, Aluche, is fighting alongside her girlfriend, Liliana. And they have like these special moves that they do when you build up a meter. And there's one where Liliana, who is like a priestess and she casts magic, she goes to cast a big spell and then there's a monster that's close to her out of a big group of monsters, and then Aluche is like, watch out, and then she jumps in front of her and hits the closest monster away, grabs Liliana by like the waist and like does like a little hop backward, like a dodge hop backward, pulling her along with her, and then Liliana finishes the spell and then obliterates the whole group of monsters. That's one of the special moves that you do all the time on the field when you're fighting. And little moments like that, little touches like that are really cute and just endearing. And I really care about my character, and I really care about her girlfriend, so it's really nice. There's another one too that I really like where they do like a prayer spell together, and then Liliana like slightly passes out, like because she's weak from doing the spell, and like you catch her in your arms, and she looks up at you lovingly, and it's just cute.
It is kind of nice to hear that the game does seem to focus a lot on the character dynamics and just like the importance of how you feel about their characters.
Yeah, it does, and that's good, because if they didn't, this would be a really hollow game experience for me.
Yeah.
The story is okay, like there's at least a couple of interesting things happening in it, but it's nothing all that great to write home about. But it is just kind of making me want to play more LGBTQ games lately, because I'm getting such a nice feeling from this game. There's a game out on Switch by Swery called The Missing J.J. Macfield and the Island of Memories, and that is like a puzzle platformer, and you are like searching for your girlfriend, and you're getting all of these texts from your mother, and it's apparently written very well. I've heard great things about the writing, and Swery always is awesome with his writing, so I definitely want to check out the game for that. I heard the gameplay is not good, but I think I can suffer. That I think is a good game for LGBTQ representation. I haven't played it yet, but I think from what I've heard, that is actually a good one.
Okay.
Like there's two sides to the coin of LGBTQ representation. You want to let those people see themselves in fiction, because of course they love, games or movies or whatever, and they want to see themselves represented in them, right? The other thing, and that can be said for, I think, all minorities as well, any marginalized group. But the other thing about that too is it's necessary because of, people who are homophobes. It normalizes these relationships and shows them that, no, this is normal, this is fine, and your opinion is bad. You know what I mean? Like your opinion of hatred is bad, and I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little bit ahead of I'm getting a little heavy right now.
Yeah.
So let's dial it back.
This kind of representation is definitely something we can talk about at some point, because
yes,
I would definitely like to hear some of your opinions on this one.
Yeah, sure. So let's jump into the news, where there's so many games to talk about, especially Pokemon. So there was so many crazy announcements that have happened just in the past couple of days. Of course, it's right before E3. Do check out our website, nintendoeverything.com, for everything that's been going on. We're just going to talk about a small collection of some games that we really care about, and then go straight into the Pokemon and everything. So I want to start off by mentioning Darksiders Genesis was leaked ahead of E3. This is a game for Switch and other platforms. It got leaked through an Amazon listing. It is rumored that the developers behind Battle Chasers Night War, who are known by Airship Syndicate, it is rumored that they are behind this project. Have you played any of the games in the Darksiders franchise, Galen?
I have not. I've heard about them, but I've never gotten my hands on one of them.
So I have played 1 and 2, and they are both very good and very much love letters to other games in the genre. So like,
that's what I heard. Yeah.
1 and 2 both feel very much like different kinds of Zelda games, and the writing is pretty good, and the voice acting is really nice. I remember in Darksiders 2.
Yeah, and the first one, doesn't like Mark Hamill play like a demonic sidekick or something like that?
Does he?
I think so.
Oh no, I didn't know that. I mean, it's been a while since I played that game. Both of those games are out on Switch, by the way, if nobody's played those. And they also came out for super cheap. I think in US currency, $20 or $30, something like that. So really fair prices, and they're both really good ports. They even have my beloved thing in ports where you have a performance mode and a quality mode. I love that.
And also, I just checked it up. Yes, he does. Mark Hamill plays a character called the Watcher.
Ah, cool. Oh, he does the Watcher.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense.
Also, shout out to Liam O'Brien, who does the voice of War. He is one of my the guys that I watch on Critical Role.
Yeah, those people are super employed. They're all over the place.
Yeah, actually, this is kind of going off topic, but my wife and I are currently playing Saints Row 4: Gat Out of Hell, and after listening to a couple of the characters, I was like, I've heard this voice before. And sure enough, like Travis Willingham, Liam O'Brien, Matt Mercer, they're all playing like various roles in the game, and I'm just like, oh my god, these guys are everywhere.
Yeah. I don't know anything about the voice acting communities, but I mean, I see a lot of the same ones getting used all over the place, and that's good because I like to see those people getting good work, but I'm also hoping that new people are also getting work and people are getting propped up as well. So that's just my completely ignorant hope. But anyway, back to Darksiders Genesis. This is apparently going to be a prequel to the first Darksiders game. So Galen, you can jump right into this one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's going to introduce the Horseman Strife because, since you don't know, this is all about the Horsemen. So there's War, Fury, Death, Strife, and each game will focus on a different one.
Yeah.
And based on some screenshots that we have, it looks like an isometric action RPG with lots of pretty use of color, and it's kind of Diablo-esque.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we will be hearing more of this at E3, surely. So do stay tuned for next week's episode, where I will have just come back from E3 and maybe laid a few hands on a few games.
I feel like you're going to be doing a lot of talking on that one.
So if you like my very terrible voice, oh god, subscribers are dropping off.
Yep.
So another game that was just announced recently is SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. This is a remake for the Nintendo Switch. This is also by THQ Nordic. This one is actually officially announced. The other one before is still technically rumor territory, I guess.
Okay.
This one was official. And this is a 3D platformer from 2003 for the GameCube. I never played it. I was talking to some lovely people in our comments section about this. I think I was just a little bit too old, and I say that very loosely because you're never too old for anything. But at the time, I was not the demographic for SpongeBob when SpongeBob came out in like 99.
Right.
I was a little bit older than that. So I'm sure that this is a huge game because I hear about it from young people. They're people in their 20s, younger 20s or something. I hear about it from them as, oh my god, this is my childhood, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I hate that sentiment. My childhood, whatever. But I'm sure this is going to be great for them. They're going to be pretty excited that this is being remastered for the Switch. Galen, do you know anything about SpongeBob? Are you a fan or anything like that? Okay, yeah. We're the same age.
I'm in the same exact boat as you. And actually, even when people were getting like really excited about SpongeBob and whatnot, I just stepped away. I had no part in that whatsoever. I wanted no part in it at all. So
yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I didn't have any feelings about it. Like, I still have no feelings about it. It's just, I don't know, I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
They were aiming it at people who were a few years younger than us. So far, we can tell there are pre-orders up online, and it is around $30 US. That is a good price. And I just wanted to mention it for the younger age brackets of younger 20s or mid 20s, whatever people are that grew up with this game. So a bit of a PSA on that. Now, this next game, both Galen and I are very excited to hear about.
Very excited. I've got my mana eggs all laid out. This is going to be great.
Oh, man, had you not said mana eggs, I was going to announce a totally different game, like something really boring or whatever the hell. It's Chess HD. No, that's not even a funny joke. I don't know.
Hey, chess jokes are always funny.
Oh, shit, you brought it back.
Hey, you're the one who brought it back.
Oh, man. Anyway, we're talking about Grandia HD Collection for the Nintendo Switch.
I'm very excited for this. I have been an old school Grandia fan for quite some time.
Yes, Galen really loves Grandia 1. I like it, but I love Grandia 2. So we're a good balance here on the Grandia knowledge. Mm-hmm. So Gung Ho Online Entertainment provided an update recently that the two games are coming soon. For both games, we can expect enhanced visuals in the UI, sprites, textures, and cinematic videos. It also has dual audio and language support in French and German also being added. We have a lot of German listeners, so what up? Good news for you all. Mm-hmm. So this will be surely at E3. They're going to give us some more announcements there on hopefully a release date.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about with both of these games coming out?
Well, for starters, I'm really excited that they're including Grandia 2 in on this, because I didn't play that as much as I did the first one. The first one is definitely my jam. I am all over that. I also remember that the combat system that they had in there was very interesting, because not only was it sort of turn-based combat, but they also had a progress bar, very similar to how Child of Light does their
I was
combat.
just about to bring that out for people who don't know about Grandia, but they've played Child of Light. Yeah, if you liked that battle system, Grandia is that and then some.
Mm-hmm. No, this innovated a lot of JRPG combat for myself. Like, this became the new expectation when I picked up a JRPG on what the combat system could be and how interactive it can be. So I'm very interested to see how that sort of a system carries over and how that withstood the test of time.
Oh, perfectly. It withstood it perfectly. It has not aged a second. I love that battle system so much.
I'm so excited to play this game again. And also, the fact that it's on the Switch, it means I can take it wherever I want to.
Put everything on my Switch, please. I just want it there.
Yes. Give me a 512 gigabyte micro SD card and just pop it in there and I'll be good.
So very briefly, what we were talking about with the battle system is you have turns, but then it's also based on speed and who's going to attack first, and you have like a little bar that visually represents who's going to attack next.
It goes in real time, and as the bar gets to a certain point near the end, you are able to actually put in a command for that character. And certain moves that you can do can actually, when you use it against an opponent, it can drop their speed down.
It cancels out their attack.
Yeah, well, sometimes it like stuns them for a little bit. Sometimes it cancels it out altogether. There's a lot of strategy as to timing when your character actually gets in.
Yeah, and then each turn is totally different because everybody's at different speeds. So it keeps battles so exciting, and you're always on your toes. So it's never boring.
Yeah, and there's also a like Tales of element to the combat system in the sense where different attacks that you make are done in a 3D-esque environment. So if you use a fireball attack, you can possibly get more than one person in that. In the range of that attack. Yeah.
Based on who's around whom.
Mm-hmm. And it was really innovating at the time when it first came out, because you not only had this really unique combat system of timing your attacks and seeing who can go first and if you could possibly stagger your opponent, but you also had distance to put into it as well. But it was still turn-based. Like, you didn't have to have twitch muscles in order to progress throughout the game. I really love this game.
Me too. I'm so excited. So we're going to be talking way more about that any chance we get.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on, Xseed has announced their E3 lineup.
Ooh.
And with that, they announced a couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
They announced Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, which was previously announced at E3 for the PS4, is also coming to Nintendo Switch.
Cool.
Yes, this game looks so much fun. It is a 2D side-scrolling, is it a platformer kind of thing? With lots of beat-em-up elements too. Anytime you hit people, it is just a chef kiss of crunchy, chunky fighting game sounds. It's so nice.
Very cool. Very cool.
So you play as like a rice paddy farmer. So there's crafting and mundane tasks like a Stardew Valley kind of thing wrapped into all of these fighting mechanics as well. But it looks to be very heavy on the fighting, which is perfect for me because I like a lot of those games where you do the town building aspect and everything like that, but I don't like it when it's 50-50. I like it when the fighting is like 70% and then the other stuff is 30%. That's a good ratio for me, and that's what this game is looking like. Also, it's super pretty. It's got a Japanese aesthetic to it, lots of soft bloom lighting and cherry blossoms and shit.
Cherry blossoms everywhere.
Then Xseed announced that the Japanese title Work Work is coming to the West as Hero Land.
Huh.
So we had rumblings of this before because they trademarked Hero Land, I think somewhere in Europe, months and months ago. And people were like, is this Work Work? Because in Work Work, the island that you play the game in is called Hero Summerland.
Okay.
So we had ideas of this, and then now they finally announced it. And I have played the Japanese title just a bit, and that is an incredibly, incredibly charming game with lots of great humor. So I'm really looking forward to other people being able to get their hands on it, and hopefully they keep the humor nice and funny.
I'm looking forward to hearing more about it.
It has this really interesting aesthetic of like everybody is a pixel and everything, but they're in 3D pixels. So like they wobble back and forth like a sheet of metal or something like that.
Okay.
So they have texture and they have like chunk to their pixels, and it's got a great visual style. It looks so cute.
Well, that's kind of fun.
In addition to that, Xseed also announced at E3 they were going to have Burger Time Party, which I believe is a new announcement for the Nintendo Switch. This is from like a sort of remix on the original Burger Time, which was an arcade game way back in the day. And then, of course, they're going to have playable Rune Factory 4 Special and Senran Kagura Peach Ball, which is coming out very soon.
The Peach Ball, I would like to know what this game is.
I think it's more creepy anime BS. There's lots of people that like that Senran Kagura series. I just don't know very much about it. They have all these kinds of things like brawlers and then hack and slash games, all the way down to gotta pet my women on the Nintendo Switch with my Mickey Mouse hands. I love the tenacity that series has for just doing whatever and just being over the top.
Oh my god, I do know the series.
Yes, you do, see? It's in your shameful Bowsette folder.
No, I watched a video of a guy playing this, and the entire reaction was, "Who is this for? What is this?" I actually had a friend who was really into these kind of games, though, and he was like, "No, the gameplay is like really unique and really in depth." And I'm just like, "Really? Do you play it with the lights on and off? Answer me this question and nothing else."
So one thing I haven't heard about these games is that they are unique and in depth. I've heard that the gameplay is fine in lots of them, but like being particularly unique or anything or groundbreaking, whatever, I've never heard that about them. But that's fine. Enjoy your creepy anime BS. I love creepy anime BS from time to time. It's okay. Don't be ashamed and don't make excuses up for your weird habits.
Embrace the weird.
So let's move on to our big discussion this episode. It's the Pokemon Sword and Shield Direct.
Yeah.
So, My first thought is, wow, that opening song to that trailer was so horrible.
Of course you would poke out the music first.
I was watching it on my phone and I wanted to throw my phone out the window. Oh my god, it was unlistenable. It was like 8 songs in one. It was gross.
Uh-huh.
Along with the opening, this horrible opening, they showed a nice trailer for Sword and Shield where we got a more clear look at the world. I was getting some Majora's Mask Termina vibes to this.
Really?
Yeah. Because they have like this big town in the middle, and then all these separate areas that you go to that they call the wilds, and you can move your camera around and you can see Pokemon in the wild, which is great because that is what I really wanted from this game.
Yeah. No, I feel like being able to move the camera around, as subtle as a feature as that is, it really does change a lot in the game.
Yeah, I hope that there's a lot of exploration that you have to do in the game.
No, absolutely. Also, I kind of thought to myself, why is it that this sort of a feature has not shown up any sooner? And then I realized that it never could.
Yeah, hardware limitations pretty much.
But yeah, I mean, not only the hardware limitations, but also the fact that there was no way to really control the camera in a natural, feeling. This is the first Pokemon game with a second stick really there. And you can make the argument that you can use the second stick in, let's say, the new Nintendo 3DS or something like that, but it's not the same when it's integrated into the hardware right from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. So after they showed off the wilds, they also showed off big, huge Pokemon. They're called Dynamax versions or something like that. I don't care. I am not calling them that. I'm calling them what one of our awesome reviewers has called them, Pokaiju.
Ha! I love that.
Yeah.
I love Pokaiju. This is very strange. First time I saw it. The first time they had that gigantic Pokemon kind of fall down, I was like, oh, okay, this must be a special battle. This must be the red Gyarados of the series or whatever. It's just, there's always been those couple of Pokemon battles that have always been slight quirks to everything. But then your character got really, really big, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I think this is more like the Z moves or Mega Evolutions kind of thing.
Yeah, which I wonder if those are actually going to make an appearance. Is this a full-on replacement, or is it going to be, are they going to be focusing in on this feature or whatnot? Because I feel like Mega Evolutions have kind of become a big thing with the series lately.
I could see Mega Evolutions being a thing, but I definitely don't think that Z moves are going to be coming into this one.
Yeah.
Just because I think that they're trying to do kind of a new thing that's sort of isolated to that game and its, spin-off or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So I think Z moves were a little bit overpowered. But that was just me.
So I want to say, though, these Pokaiju, I think that they looked like absolute shit.
Really?
Yes, they look like balloon floats. They don't look real. When I saw that, I seriously was like, oh, is this a Poke float?
Mm-hmm.
They have dead eyes in the Pokemon and the character models, too. The Pokemon models and the human models have a real last-gen holdover feel for me.
Yeah.
That's actually my biggest problem with Sword and Shield right now. The environments, I think, look very nice and are going to be probably improved. Not probably, assuredly improved. How much, we don't know, because this is still in development. But the models can't be improved really much further. Did you see the Charizard that the main guy had? The hero or whatever? The Charizard just had an orange color. He didn't have any texture to his scales. That's what I want to see, is I want to see scaled texture. I want my Pokemon to look slightly different.
You want to see it take that closer step, not necessarily go straight over, but just a closer step to something like Detective Pikachu, where there's no
I did not
detail
say
in the
that.
actual
Do not
characters.
put words in my mouth. Lots of people hate the designs in Detective Pikachu. I'm not one of them, but don't you throw me in that bus. I don't have a ticket.
I feel like that's what you wanted to say, but you just need a little help getting there.
Oh, okay. Well, the next time that you need help getting somewhere with something that you're trying to say, allow me to assist.
You go right on ahead.
Anyway, I'm just saying that these models look like nice versions of 3DS game models, and that sucks. Like, I think that if this Pokemon game were being dictated by the game's release, if it were being dictated by creativity as opposed to, no, one needs to come out in 2019 because money, which is a totally unrealistic business practice, so I'm not really criticizing that right now when I say this. But anyway, if that were the case, I feel like this game would not be coming out this time in 2019. They would probably have a game release in, say, 2020 or something. It would be in development longer. I wonder if the character models are just a holder. And I meant to say holdover, not holder.
I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think these are actually the models that we are going to be getting.
Oh, no, I don't mean that. I mean, that's what they feel. That's what they put in there because they already had them modeled from the 3DS game. Probably brushed them up a little bit, added a few more polygons, that kind of thing. And I don't know, it's my biggest issue, but it's not actually, in the grand scheme of things, that big of an issue. It's just sort of underwhelming for me. Other things in the game do look really nice to me.
Yeah.
Because I have to be realistic about it, right? There's so many Pokemon that would, and so many models that would have to get redone.
Yeah.
So I know it's going to eventually happen. I just wish it was happening this generation.
Yeah. This would be a better generation to do it with the new hardware that's there.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I feel like the aesthetic of Pokemon as a whole is a bigger limitation than the hardware.
Yeah, but they can change the aesthetic with any new entry. And they don't have to like change it from the anime aesthetic that they've really gone with. They can just make it have not more realistic, but just more detail to it. You know, like Charizard with scales.
I don't know. I guess it doesn't. I don't share your enthusiasm in this one.
That's okay. So anyway, moving on from that, it does look nice. It's really nice use of color and everything. They showed off the models and the world and everything. And then when they started to talk about the art direction, they turned it over to James Turner, the art director of Pokemon for Sword and Shield, and resident android of Game Freak, who introduced some new Pokemon with a very monotone speech, devoid of life and personality.
Game Freak bot 5000 must give response.
Thank you for initiating my speaking sequence.
Yeah.
So he shows off Wooloo, which is a cute little sheep Pokemon with fluffy fur, and it avoids conflict. It is so cute. Also, shout out to Wooly from Super Best Friends. Oh, wait, that doesn't exist anymore. Castle Super Beast, because it is basically a sheep version of him. It's got dreads and everything, and like a little hat-looking thing. It's great. What do you think about Wooloo?
It's a sheep.
Cool.
I mean, I feel like we've seen sheep Pokemon before.
Yeah, the electric one.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if, like, what is this going to be, a normal type, or is this going to be like a different combination? Because I really did like the first one that they had on there, so I'm wondering if this is a similar answer to that, or if it was something, or they're placing it in here like this is going to be the new Rattata or something like that.
Yeah, you know how in the beginning of your Pokemon adventure in like all Pokemon games, there's always a normal type? I think that this is going to be your opening normal type.
And I believe that. I would be okay with that.
That's a good one.
So,
I like it. It's really cute. Then they show off Gossifleur, a pure cutie.
Yeah.
I think that your wife is really going to like this one.
Oh, absolutely. I'm really hoping they have the Poke Pampering feature that they've had in the past couple of ones, because
gotta rub my Pokemon.
I'll just give the Switch to her and just be like, hey, this Pokemon needs some love. It has a flower in its head. And it's like, oh my god, it is a flower. My wife doesn't sound like that.
No, she doesn't. I probably wouldn't be friends with her if she talked like that. I wouldn't be able to stand her. Then they also showed off the evolution for Gossifleur. It evolves into Eldegoss, a pollen tumor Pokemon that I hate because wow, do I have allergies. I look at that thing and I'm like, oh my god, I need to wear a pollen mask. Oh, it's so gross.
Now, I did notice on when they were talking about that they were saying its form changes depending on what area you you caught it in or what area you were in general.
Oh, I didn't catch that. That's really cool. I love when they do that kind of... They started to introduce some of that with a few Pokemon in past generations. I love that idea.
Yeah, no, they said that this form changes depending on your location. I just can't remember if it was an on-the-fly type thing or if it was specific to the region which you caught it in.
Cool. I'm really into like zoology and just creature design in general, and I really want to see, especially now that they have like more powerful hardware that they're going to be putting this on, I want to see them go into more of those things. Like just put in a bunch of nerdy zoology crap for people like us. I want to spend, like, I know that this is not the average Pokemon fan, but I'm just talking me here. I want to spend a lot of time exploring and getting up a mountain or whatever to find this one rare Pokemon that I've been researching on my own, you know?
Yeah.
God, that's never going to happen, but I would love that.
Gotta catch them all.
And then he introduced Dreadnought, and that sure is a Pokemon design. That's like the most Pokemon-looking Pokemon.
Yeah. I feel like this is gonna be like the Geodude of the game.
I feel like I've seen this exact Pokemon before.
It actually looks a lot like what was it, Torterra from the other one?
Boy,
the
do I not
big
know.
turtle. It was the big turtle with the tree on its back.
Oh, the starter green Pokemon evolution?
Yeah.
Oh, the one that evolves from Turtwig. I didn't think so.
Uh-huh. I thought it looked like that, just a much like scaled down version of it.
Okay.
But yeah, it was as Pokemon gets.
It was very Pokemon. Then they introduced Corviknight, and it's like a raven, obviously dark type or something like that. It's very ominous, but what was interesting is they said that it was going to be your flying taxi to take you to different areas.
This is probably an extension of what they did in the last game where you could ride Pokemon around, or you could actually like jump between different cities, and it actually showed you riding the Pokemon when you did that. It's probably an extension to that.
Oh man, you just made me think about what if you can hold on to that stupid thing just like the owl in Super Mario 64, and then you can just drop yourself off wherever you want to go. That would be so much fun. And then eventually they're like, yo, you've been eating too much spaghetti, so I gotta let you go off here. Getting back to the environments, I wanted to say that some people, I didn't notice this really because I don't think I was looking for it, but some people I heard were making complaints about like bad textures and other elements like that. But I think I overlooked it because this game is still in development, and I'm withholding all of my true judgments for, say September, October, when the game is pretty much finished.
No, absolutely. I do give a little bit of artistic liberty to a lot of these games when they come out with trailers like this, because you never know what the final product is going to be. It could look better, could look worse. So it's kind of hard to judge aesthetically what the game will be like throughout the entire thing.
Now hold on. Nintendo is not EA or Gearbox or Ubisoft. Their games don't take a gigantic downgrade from what they were showing before.
No. But also look at, oh god, what was that game? Bloodstained Symphony of the Night. That's going to be coming out later this month.
Oh, the huge improvement that it had.
Yeah, like it goes both ways on that. Like, this is not going to be the final product that we're getting. This is just showing what the game is going to be like in a general sense, and also kind of, I felt like this was more to showcase the mechanics than the look and the feel of the game.
Mm-hmm. And then moving on from that, they also showed off how there's going to be a lot of online battles with something new called Max Raid Battles. This is where you work in cooperation with other players to take down a huge, crappy-looking Pokemon, Pokaiju. And this sounds good. It's very modern to fight a big enemy cooperatively in modern games. Games like, off the top of my head, Xenoblade Xenoblade Cross, Monster Hunter, Dragon's Dogma, all of those come to mind. But games, tons of games do this now, and I think it's a good addition.
I think it's a good addition, but it does raise a couple of questions for me. One, they were talking a lot about how when you're playing this, you really need to collaborate and use teamwork in order to get everything done, because only one of the four of you can make their version of a Pokemon, a Pokakaiju. And
oh, that's right.
That just tells me that there needs to be a level of communication within all of this.
And if you ask strangers on the internet to communicate, the first thing they start do is insult. Nobody knows how to talk to people on the internet. Just everyone's mean.
Well, and my question is, how are we supposed to communicate with everybody? Is there going to be an app with your current party? Is there going to be live chat?
And voice chat? Yeah, right. This is Nintendo. This is Nintendo Switch Online.
Exactly. Any other game, I would be like, okay, so it's a big raid boss. You have to go ahead and team up with it. But it's Nintendo who's saying this, so how are they going to make this work?
There's going to be 4 different buttons you can press at any given time, and that's it. And they're just going to be like, yeah, come on, follow me. Ouch. That's all it's going to be. It's going to suck. But hopefully you can play with friends. Who knows? Because sometimes Nintendo's out on that.
Yeah.
So hopefully you can play with friends, because I would never want to play with randoms online anyway. Just in general, God, just playing with people online that I don't know is terrible.
Well, and when they were talking about it, they were also saying hey, you can team up with 4 players through local wireless.
Oh, right, yeah.
They emphasized that part before they made any other mention of playing online. So I'm wondering if these raid battles are only going to be local wireless compatible.
I thought that too, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but I heard something right after they said that made me think, oh no, this is definitely online too.
Yeah.
But that is a great question for me to ask some Nintendo rep when I'm at E3 this week.
Are you getting excited? Are you getting excited that you're going to be able going over?
I mean, honestly, I am excited, but I'm also God, my schedule is so full. I'm just going to be so tired. I don't know how I'm going to make everything work, I have a lot of work to do.
Can I recommend spending 300 $Poké on some lemonade? Refresh you right up.
So moving on from the online battles, they also showed off the gym leaders being in stadiums. And there's going to be a bunch of Dynamax battles because the gym leaders are going to have them, and you're going to have to use them too. And then my favorite freaking part was they were like, the Dynamax battles are going to bring excitement to the stadium, and excitement's going to reach its peak. And then they quickly cut to the audience, and the audience is these lifeless 3DS holdovers with their awful last-gen faces looking the most not hype. They look like dolls. And then I'm watching the trailer, and I'm like, this is what I'm talking about! I'm so upset. Such a child. I'm an adult child, man.
Now, one thing that I did notice when they were bringing out the gym leader, and I can't even remember his name.
Milo.
Yeah, Milo. When they brought him out, I noticed that he had multiple Pokeballs on his side, and I'm wondering if that is a purposeful aesthetic choice, and if every gym leader that comes out, they have one Pokeball for each Pokemon that they're actually bringing into battle with them.
That would be nice. Nintendo usually does do little touches like that, so hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you could also, because they've also been focusing a lot on having some sort of story element to go along with it before you actually go into the gym battle, that usually involves the gym leader itself. Like you said, they've done that a couple times in the past games. So I wonder if you could take that as subtle hints that, hey, you do an adventure, but when you meet up with him beforehand, you can see how many Pokemon he has with him at, and then you can kind of plan for that before you go into battle.
Probably they just won't even show the Pokeballs on their hip. at that time until the actual battle. You know what I mean?
Maybe. But I really hope they do something very subtle for that, because it's a very easy addition, and it just gives the astute people who notice that just that little bit of satisfaction for very little, like, cost, if you will.
Yeah.
Although, then again, it's also 2019, and you can just read up what he's going to have on the internet, so.
Don't do that. Don't ruin games for yourself.
No, don't do it.
I'm surprised that that's what you noticed with Milo, because what I first noticed with Milo is that he looks like a baby in a strongman suit. He makes me very uncomfortable.
He has some candy in one of his pockets.
Stop it. I'm wondering if all of the gym leader battles that you're going to do are going to take place in this one stadium too, because they showed off a stadium in some of the aerial shots that they had before, and I'm wondering if there's only one stadium for the entire game, and there's only like one big town for the entire game. Like maybe there's some smaller towns too, but the big town is where pretty much everything is happening, and you like set up your battles in there just like a sports game or whatever.
Gotcha.
I'm wondering if they're going to do that.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to see on that one.
We will have to see.
Yeah.
Then they closed it out by showing off the legendaries of this game. Their names suck.
They're
called Zachian. I don't know how do you pronounce that? Anyway, and also Zamazenta. Those names suck. It sounds like what a 13-year-old thinks sounds cool. By the way, no offense to any 13-year-olds listening to our podcast. I'm just saying that's what 13-year-old me would have come up with when I was always making up characters and drawing and all that
Begins
stuff.
with a Z. It's going to be edgy and epic.
Oh my God, I'm keeping that in. You screwed up both of those words, you fool.
I mean, I kind of assumed that the names
No,
were
keep
be
going. Keep screwing up more words.
Listen, of the two of us, you should not be throwing any stones in this glass house, okay?
Listen, my glass house is full of broken windows. I don't even care anymore.
Your glass house is just a wire frame at this point.
Anyway, what did you think about the designs, Galen?
I don't know. I was expecting a little bit more diversity between the two.
Absolutely.
When I saw the sword doggo go ahead and like jump in, I was expecting it to be like a flying type, because they've done that a lot in the past. One is a flying type, one is a ground type, and then they have that clash, where they're meeting in the middle or whatever. They've done it for a couple of times. I don't know. These guys didn't feel like poster child legendaries to me. They felt more like these are going to be the guys that are going to be running around that you have to chase. Like, they felt like special Pokemon, but not the need to talk about Pokemon.
Yeah, for me, they felt like a sort of Articuno, Zapdos, that kind of thing. But not like the two legendaries that drive the game, Sword and Shield. But correct. I want to say that their designs are all right. I think that they do look similar intentionally. Like they're allies who are going to face a bigger enemy, which is what I think they hinted at the end of that trailer.
Possibly.
But the one favorite part of that is I like Zamazenta. I like how its mane, it's like lion mane, is actually a shield. I think that's fun. It's cute.
Well, and I also love the balance between the two of the sword one who can slice through any object, and the shield one who can deflect any attack. And I know I've heard that story before. I don't remember where it actually sourced from, but it does have some real world mythological, like...
Oh, really?
Yeah, some grounding to it. I'll have to look up the actual story.
Interesting.
I've noticed that they kind of borrow from real life mythology on a lot of these newer ones that are coming out.
That's cool. I'm fine with that. I like mythology.
As a side note, though, right after this, I went to Twitter, and oh my god, everybody posting their own personal sword doggos.
Yeah, it's
was
cute.
the greatest thing. My wife doesn't get it. I think it is the funniest thing ever.
I think that Twitter has been doing a really good job with the Pokemon memes this generation.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll have to see, wait for some more information, and I'm going to have to play these game hand-on at E3.
Oh, you're going to E3? I haven't heard yet.
Yeah, nobody heard.
Huh?
This is the pre-E3 show. I gotta mention it a bunch. All this stuff is coming out at E3, so don't even pretend. Don't even start a fight with me about me, like, whatever talking.
I want to come to E3.
Is that jealousy I hear? Do you need help getting on the bus
I
of
am
jealousy?
super jealous. I am super jealous. There is no hiding that right now.
Well, why didn't you just go then? You could have bought a ticket. They're apparently $1,000. Oh my god, did you know that?
That is crazy.
Like the special industry or gamer, whatever the hell things they're called. They're so expensive. I thought maybe $200. Maybe. But wow, they're expensive. Anyway, genuine here talking about the E3s. If you have any questions or anything that you're like, yo, you should ask this when you're demoing or whatever, just send me an email about that. Nintendo Everything Pod. And yeah, I'll try and ask them.
All of the tweets. Send them tweets.
Yeah, you can tweet me at Oni_Dino.
But don't go to his Instagram.
Hey, I just did a face reveal on my Instagram. It was in what are those called, stories? So it's already gone by now, but if you happen to pay attention to my Twitter, then you saw my real face.
Just gonna leave it awkward here.
What if I uploaded an episode where I muted all of your parts?
What you should do is you should mute all of my parts and then replace it with the 4 buttons that Nintendo uses.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Follow me.
Over here. Good job.
Yeah, if there's ever an episode where you're like, dude, I cannot record this week, I should replace you. I should replace you with like little clips from everybody in a video game, like all the characters from ARMS or like Link from Ocarina of Time, and be like, yo, Galen, what's going on? How are you feeling today? And you'd be like, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, we might be able to actually keep on track on our topics then.
Hey, let's move on to our next topic and stay on track.
All right.
As if this were Spirit Tracks that we're staying... I don't care, whatever. So let's talk about our E3 wish lists. E3 is just a couple of days away. Galen.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you think are either going to be at E3 or you would like to see at E3 regardless of logic and true expectation? Just tell me.
Yeah. So I'm trying to stay a little bit more realistic on what we will most likely see at E3. And I'm kind of basing this off of what we've seen in the past. Nintendo is in a weird space because they don't rely on E3 primarily to get its news out.
Mm-hmm.
With a lot of places like Microsoft and not Sony and other providers, this is their time to shine. This is their big, hey, we're going to show you all of the awesome games that are coming out this year, early next year. This is what you need to get hyped for.
Except this very year, though. This year is a weird one because everything Microsoft
Oh, it's
is
weird
doing
across
is,
the board.
Yeah, everything that Microsoft is doing is off-site. And then Sony is just entirely absent from E3 2019. So the biggest presence is Nintendo this year.
Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if there was some, like, weird guidelines that went along with like how E3 was setting up that made all these companies make that decision.
I think part of it is just like general marketing things. Like lots of people are trying to do their own digital stuff, which makes perfect sense because they're seeing that Nintendo, is doing better with that. And I mean, you have full control of everything. It's probably cheaper. You have less embarrassing moments. But in terms of like Sony,
you don't have technical difficulties of controllers not working. Or,
yeah. Or somebody drumming with their Wii remote and their nunchuck like an idiot. But in terms of like Sony not being there entirely, I'm sure that was a whole bunch of really rich old white dudes in a meeting room in the back just getting in arguments.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at this rather objectively, and
Okay.
I want to see I'm asking myself, what are the games that we're probably going to be seeing in the next couple of months? Because we'll probably get another direct sometimes 3-4 months down the line. So maybe September, October or something. So we're probably going to see a little bit of the new Fire Emblem game. Just a tidbit, just a trailer to remind you, hey, this is coming out soon. It's going to be the same exact thing for Mario Maker. I think those are going to be really quick, just 30-second blurbs of, hey, these games are coming out this month.
Yeah, I hope that that's the case. I feel like they're definitely going to spend a little more time on Fire Emblem again, though.
Possibly. I can't remember. Did they do a direct on that? Or
They did.
Yeah.
But then there's also been more and more details that have been coming out every week, like of medium to low importance. And we haven't really talked about it too much just because there's been other bigger news to talk about. But I mean, they've been drip feeding lots of new characters, new systems.
Mm-hmm. And to be completely honest, like, I don't necessarily know if it's necessary to devote a lot of time to that right now.
Yes, actually, I would say that it is unnecessary, but I think that they're going to do it anyway.
Maybe. I do think, going a little bit further down the road, I do think we are going to see Luigi's Mansion 3 and Animal Crossing. I know they have not been talking about that a whole lot, but they are both games that we know are going to be coming out. And I think this is going to be the time to shine as far as us seeing some legitimate gameplay from both those games, if not launch dates.
So I do agree with you on Luigi's Mansion for sure.
Uh-huh.
Animal Crossing, I have big question marks about that one because we haven't heard a damn word about it at all. So I'm like, is there some development troubles with Animal Crossing? Like, I can't imagine that there is because they're just going to make Animal Crossing again, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, where the hell is it?
Yeah, you don't need to do a whole lot with Animal Crossing. I think we haven't seen a whole lot on it because they have had so much more stuff and more pressing stuff to talk about.
I mean, I think they have too much stuff to talk about. I would not care if certain things got pushed back into 2020, early 2020 or whatever, because there's too much for Nintendo that's scheduled to come out this year, that's scheduled to come out in the next 5 months. There's like 12 games.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo definitely has a great library coming out for the rest of the year.
Too great, some may say.
But I feel like they need to address Animal Crossing. So even if they do have it like in early 2020, like if they make it January or February of 2020, just give us a date so that we know it's coming and we know when it actually, like, what to expect.
Yeah. Animal Crossing fans are, I said this before, they're becoming like Mother 3 fans who are like, no, where is it? Just give it to us. You know? Feel bad for them.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I mean, also, look at Bayonetta 3. They announced that, and we've seen absolutely nothing from it so far, but I feel like people aren't focusing on that as much as they are Animal Crossing, and the Animal Crossing announcement came out a lot sooner, too. So I think that they are going to be doing Luigi's Mansion, and looking at their past history of games for that, it is going to come out probably sometime in October.
Yeah, spooky game.
I'd be very surprised if it wasn't. I'm going to take a shot in the dark here and say that we are going to see gameplay from both Bayonetta 3 and Metroid 3. Or Metroid Prime 4.
What? That's so unrealistic.
Well, and like I said, this is my shot in the dark. This is I'm throwing things against the wall to see what sticks.
As long as you know that it's unrealistic.
It's unrealistic, but I can also rationalize it.
Okay, well, that's where I'm going to fight you.
I think they're going to be talking about Astral Chains. They're going to give a little bit more details on that. Maybe a different trailer than the one that they showed us before, more than just a reminder. Just something to get us a little bit more hyped. But right after that, they are then going to show us some gameplay of Bayonetta 3 and then drop like a, hey, this is coming out in 2020. Or something like that. Like something arbitrary. It's not an exact date, but they can show, hey, this is the progress we've made on that. And you know that us making Astral Chains isn't affecting development on Bayonetta 3. Like, I can see it being a smart decision for them to bring it out at this time, especially because it's also been a while since they have talked about it.
I could see like a little tease or like a little gameplay snippet just with like a year, 2020.
Exactly.
But that's it. That's at the
something
absolute
loose,
most.
Nothing in depth, just something to be like, hey, listen, this is a game.
Yeah. Because my thing is that they have so many games coming out this year that they have to talk about those, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in addition to making a new announcement here or there, and I don't know, there's so much to talk about. Their direct is not an hour, you know?
Yeah. Going back to Metroid Prime 4, so this is the longer shot. I would not be surprised at all if this makes no appearance whatsoever. However...
Of course not, it's not going to appear, but go ahead with your howevers, you crazy.
If they did make a small cutscene or something, because companies do this sometimes around this time. They create some sort of a cutscene or anything, announcing that, or just kind of reaffirming the fact that a game is going to be coming out.
Yeah, but I mean, they announced something earlier this year about it being restarted from scratch. So I think that
Correct.
was sort of them being like, listen, full transparency, and also don't expect to hear anything more about it for another year.
Yeah. Well, and also the fact that they came out and they said we're starting over from scratch, I think it would make that much more of an impact if they did, hey, we know we had to start over, but just so you know, we're restarting this for a reason. Here's what we got so far. I'm not saying that we're going to get a release date or even a release window by any means. Like, we're probably not going to see that game for like another year and a half, 2 years.
At least, yes.
Yeah. But making mention to it when there was a little bit of, dare I say, controversy about them scrapping the entire thing, which
I think it was actually really well received.
Yeah.
Outside of people who were incredibly disappointed.
Yeah. They cared enough to address it.
Yeah, it's good. Be transparent.
So I feel like they would care enough to give an update. And also, that leads to one of my other ones where, a remake of Metroid Prime Trilogy.
I could see that, like, in the realistic scheme of things, I could see that possibly being mentioned at E3, but I definitely don't think anything's going to happen Metroid-related at all. That's what I'm really thinking.
It's going to be completely out.
Completely out. So nothing about Metroid Prime 4 for sure. I will be shocked, and everybody listening can open palm slap me across the face if there is Metroid Prime 4 news at E3. I will happily take that. But I really don't think that there will also be a trilogy announcement at E3. If anything, it will be that first.
I feel like they can't play the same trick twice. Either they're going to show a trailer for Astral Chains, and then right after that, they're going to show some gameplay of Bayonetta 3, or they're going to announce the Metroid Prime trilogy, and then also show like a small cutscene or something for Metroid Prime 4. I don't think the two are going to overlap in the same thing.
I don't think either of them are going to be there at all.
Yeah, I'm trying to think that Nintendo has always come through with some sort of surprise. So I'm trying to logically think what are some surprises that they can come out. I mean, unless they completely announce a brand new IP or something like that, in which case, all thoughts are out the window.
Right. On that thought, I think that they will really just do a very quick tease or gameplay tease of Bayonetta 3. That's what I think will be the big surprise thing at the end. But we have one last thing, like that kind of thing.
Exactly.
That's what I think is realistically going to be it, if it's going to be that at all. I really don't think Bayonetta is going to appear, but I would love it.
Yeah. Hey, this is a wish list, so I'm just putting it out there.
Right. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm being real harsh on you right there, but I wanted to be like, okay, this thing you're saying right now, is this just like a total wish list thing, or is this you legit are expecting, or you legit think it's a possibility? You know what I mean? Like, which category does it fall into?
Yeah, it's a wish list, but I can justify my reasoning behind putting it on the list.
And that's why I justify a fight with you.
Ouch!
Follow me.
Some lesser titles that I am a little interested in, I would love, and the rest of these are going to be this is my pure wish list version.
Okay, this is the crazy ones, right?
This is the crazy one.
Okay.
Not nearly as intense.
I'm going to put my pitchfork down.
I would love to see them announce a second Phoenix Wright trilogy. This one involving the 4th, 5th, and 6th game, because all three of those, Apollo Justice, the one where it's not Apollo Justice, and the Spirit Medium one.
Okay.
All of those are, again, the Phoenix Wright series is one of my favorites. It's a fantastic series.
Yeah.
But they're all on 3DS primarily. So I would love to see Capcom come through and say, oh, hey, by the way, we've been remaking these because we remade these other ones too and it did really well. So here you go. And not even like a huge announcement. This is just like one of their 15 seconds. Hey, Phoenix Wright fans can expect blah, blah, blah. And then they move on to something else.
Gotcha.
Going back to something that I think is expected, I think we are going to be getting a new Smash Bros. DLC character on this one.
Oh, yeah. Probably, yeah.
Probably. I have been seeing some rumors flying around on the internet that it is going to be Banjo-Kazooie, based on some developers saying, hey, Banjo, I hope he's having a smashing good time or something like that.
Sure. Banjo, Geno, Goku, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even speculate with that crap anymore because whatever, just show me. Okay.
Exactly. It's like guessing on a new IP. It's pointless to speculate because anything is possible.
Put Jason in it. Put Jack the Ripper in it.
No, now you're thinking of that old Mortal Kombat game.
Put the alien in it. No, don't put David from Prometheus in it. In Smash.
What?
I don't care. Like, just sure. Anybody, get in. You look good. Get in.
Other than that, though, I mean, I think we're going to be getting a lot of indie titles.
Yeah, there's going to be a big old indie something going on because on their third day, they're going to have a portion of the Nintendo Tree House be the indie, whatever the hell they called it.
The indie tree house, yeah.
They're really going to push that.
That's the other thing that we have to consider is that Nintendo has made themselves this groove at E3 where the Direct is only half of it because they spend the rest of the time going into more detailed looks on some of the games that they were talking about, and some games they haven't even talked about at all.
Yeah, sometimes there is like smaller game announcements in there. For sure with indie titles, I think we're going to get announcements there. I like this groove, like you're saying. I like it that Nintendo is figuring out.
Yeah, it makes it much more of a weekly event than just like a, hey, sit down for half an hour to 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that I first learned about Oasis that way.
Ever Oasis?
Yes, that's one.
And you didn't play it?
I did not play it. I was actually really interested in it.
You jerk! I bought that game day one. It was fantastic. It felt like what Secret of Mana could have been as it kept going or something like that. It felt really good, and it was a good game, and I wish it would be re-released on the Switch. Deserves it.
Can't remember. Was it level 5?
No, it wasn't level 5. It was developed by Grezzo, who did the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask remakes for the 3DS, and then published by Nintendo. But the director was Koichi Ishii, and he referred to it as a spiritual successor to the Mana series. He is the creator of the Mana series.
Ah, gotcha.
So that's why it felt like that. Oh, I loved that game. It was great.
I wonder where level 5 came into my mind on that one then.
It does kind of look like them, I guess. And I mean, when you said that, I was like, yeah, sure, it was them. Like, that sounds and looks right.
I was completely wrong, but I sounded confident when I said it.
I would have believed
Signs
it.
of any good businessman. No, I would also like to see a little bit more on town and maybe get an actual title from that.
Me too. Town looks nice.
Yeah. I think that's all they're going to have enough time for in the Direct itself. And then, I mean, like I said, it's silly to guess what kind of, new drops or surprise drops are going to be showing up. But realistically, I think we're going to get, the big ones are going to be, we're going to get some news on Animal Crossing, if not footage and a release date.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to get a confirmation and a release date of Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to see something from one of the big two missing ones. We're either going to see Bayonetta 3 or we are going to see Metroid Prime 4. I think they're going to make some sort of a reference on that, because those two games would have a big enough surprise to make a E3 Direct memorable.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. Oni, what are your hypotheses?
Well, I have a little bit less than you to say because I kind of interrupted you a shit ton. But out of like realistic things, I would really like to hear more about Town.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would also like to hear something about improving their online service. Not like as directly as we are improving our online service, you know? But I mean something about like we're going to start releasing SNES games or whatever.
That would be pretty cool. That would be a good surprise.
I mean, Nintendo's sitting on this fantastic back catalog of Super Nintendo, 64, all of those, GameCube.
That, quite frankly, with like the 3DS and those older consoles basically becoming obsolete at this point, they have no real access to make use of those IPs. So.
I think that Nintendo doesn't know what it's doing right now with all of those things. No, genuinely. Like, I think that they are like, do we do, you know, route A, B, C about this? You know, do we piecemeal them again? Like, I think that they genuinely don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like to hear something because the online service is not great. The console's been out for over 2 years now, and we just have NES games on there and just 3 a month, and I don't care.
Yeah. So I have 2 questions for you. One, do you think they are going to take a more serious tone with this Direct, or are they going to play it up in a more lighthearted form? This is going to be the first Direct with Mr. Bowser at the helm.
Oh, that's a great thing to think about. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be just as, you know, fun and serious mix like all of their other Directs have been. But I do think, now that you mention it, I do think we will see Doug Bowser kind of being like, hey, everybody, I'm the new president, and I'm so excited, and that kind of nonsense. And then everybody would be like, come on, the games. Show me the Marios. That's my impression of Nintendo fans. Why is that it?
I like that. I'm very interested to see what tone they bring it in, because I feel like the tone of this one is going to be a little bit more different. I can see them going either way with it. Like, I know last year it was a little bit more serious, and I can't remember, was last year the one where they kept like referring to Mario Odyssey because that had just released, so they were just talking about the Odyssey of everything, or was that the year before?
That was the year before. That was 2017. 2017 was a crazy year for the Nintendo Switch in terms of releases.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I want to see Doug Bowser dressed as Bowsette. I've said it before. I want to see that. Just appear and be like, hi, Internet. It's what you wanted, isn't it? It will hands down be the best E3 that Nintendo has ever had. They could show
would win at E3.
They could show an entire 35-minute presentation direct of Mario Maker 2 alone, as long as they opened up with Doug Bowsette. And I'd be like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life.
I would very much like them to address amiibos.
They're not going to just like do that on
No.
E3. What are you talking about?
If during this entire conference they do not mention anything that will use amiibo support, I think we can consider amiibos being basically done and over with for Nintendo.
I don't think amiibo are done and over with. I think they're taking a step back from it for sure, but they're not done and over with yet.
Yeah. Well, that's just the thing. I mean, we haven't really seen a whole lot of support with it, and then the fact that they are not going to be including amiibo support on Mario Maker is kind of a red flag.
There's no amiibo support, or did they just say that it's not for like those unlockable things like we talked about before?
I heard that there was no amiibo support whatsoever.
Okay. I mean, we talked about this like a week ago. I don't know why I don't remember.
Yeah, no, and that's the only one that I can really think of that would really make good use of it.
Yeah, that is definitely surprising.
Yeah. And I know a lot of the other like Toys to Life franchises have kind of gone downhill.
Yeah, but Nintendo hasn't put a whole lot of stock into them other than being like, Nintendo really doesn't release figures. So here are finally some figures for you, and we have really recognizable IP. And then you can use them in the game sort of if you want. And that's about it. They haven't been like, okay, here's our whole thing that is the foundation is Toys to Life. They haven't done that at all.
I don't know.
They dodged a bullet with that.
I would like to see them continue with amiibos. I think they're a cool concept, and it really gives roots to them as a toy company.
Yeah,
So, well, that's not their true roots, but yeah.
Love hotels and whatnot and card games.
A family company.
As a consumer only, I hope that they stop producing amiibos entirely. I don't want to be tempted to buy anymore. I already was like, I'm only going to buy the ones that I like. So I thought like in the end, I'd end up with like 10. I have more than 10. And
oh yeah,
I'm not a collector by any means. I'm not collecting them. I'm not like, oh, I need everyone from this set or whatever. I just buy the ones I like. I end up liking a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, going back to realistic things that I would hope. I hope that we get a good view of Astral Chain and some new stuff that's going on, because that game is coming out real soon. It is coming out in less than 3 months, like 2.5 months.
Yeah, they said something about coming out in November, right?
What month do you think it is, Galen?
I think it's June.
Yes. So what's 2.5 months from now?
October?
Yes. Wait.
I said November.
Wait a second. No, not October. Wait, hold on. 6, 7, 8. What's 8? August. It comes out in the end of August. You're screwing me all up with your incoherent nonsensisms. Also, you were wrong on the 2 months from now thing.
So it comes out in
the end of August.
Okay. I thought it came out in the end of November.
No, which is like 4 months from now. 5 months from now.
Okay.
Learn your months. Don't fluster me. I'm getting hot. It's too much hotness over here. Anyway.
Ouch.
Going back. A couple of questions that are in the realm of real but questions is, what's going on with Daemon X Machina? I have a feeling that development-wise, they're like, we don't know what we're doing. Like, we have this great concept and we went really far with it, but then we got to this, like, 80% point and we're like, wait, what do we do? Like, I have a feeling that they're, like, clueless at the moment of how they're going to finally execute this game. It was supposed to come out in summer of this year. We haven't heard anything.
Yeah, you're going to chastise me for this, but kind of forgot about that game.
Yeah, I don't know why. You are into robots like I'm into robots, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Or are you a fake gamer? Huh? Mm-hmm. I'm a capital G gamer, and you're a fake gamer. God, those are both two of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life that people are serious about on the internet.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm seriously wondering what the hell's going on with that. It's going to be bizarre if they don't mention it at E3, like a release window for that, because what the hell is going on?
Yeah. No, that needs to come out like sometime soon.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if they delay it till 2020 because they said that they're changing some stuff, but like, because there's lots of games coming out. But I mean, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Should have been out sooner. And then I just wanted to go into some crazier stuff because we've talked realistic stuff before. And then just now you talked about a lot of realistic stuff. I don't agree with it, but you know. And so I'd like to talk just some crazy stuff that I don't think is going to happen, but it's on my wish list of stuff that I wish would happen in the world.
You wish away.
I would love to see in Luigi's Mansion 3 a partner mechanic with Daisy, and she's the brave one and Luigi's scared. We talked about this before. That would be so cool.
I still think that's a really cool idea. I am all for that.
It's such a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm all for that. I think that's a really cool idea.
It's a great way to flesh out Daisy and give her more personality, and it makes perfect sense. It would be so adorable.
And also, it really exemplifies what you can do with the Switch. I mean,
exactly,
so many
co-op.
Of these Switch games are being like, yeah, here's your couch co-op. And not even a couch, you can be anywhere and just be like, here, catch some ghosts with me.
Right. That's one of my things on the wish list. I have no reason to think that exists. I don't think it exists, but it makes sense in reality how it could exist.
Mm-hmm.
Then my number one thing that I would love to see at E3, I don't think it's going to be there. I don't even know if this game will ever happen in the world. Super Mario RPG 2. I want to see Square Enix and Nintendo doing a crossover again with Super Mario RPG. Do a Mushroom Kingdom Hearts. Sure, do that. Just don't make it as ridiculous. And oh my god, Kingdom Hearts is ridiculous, man. Like, it should be the easiest thing to get into. It is Disney characters and Final Fantasy characters. They have screwed up that story so bad that it's like the most difficult thing to even approach. And it should be the easiest. So anyway, don't do that.
If they did a Nintendo Land, but you actually get to play as different Nintendo characters, and it's basically a similar theme to like what Kingdom Hearts is doing, that would be amazing. I would play the crap out of that game.
Yeah. Speaking of that, like, Nintendo Land was the best launch game that Nintendo has ever had in terms of God, what would you call those? Like, you know, Wii Sports and what's the one, 1-2 Switch that came out, like those kinds of games that
tech demos.
Yeah, they're like tech demos, but also games. Nintendo Land was fantastic. I loved that one. I would love to see a sequel to something like that, but I really don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But anyway, Super Mario RPG 2. Just blow our minds with that and like have Geno be like the evil guy and everybody can be like, oh my god, he's evil now, or whatever, you know, people do on the internet.
What would you do if, as the new downloadable character for Smash, they came out with Geno, and then right after that, they said, but we have one more thing, and they said Super Mario 2. Or Super Mario RPG 2.
I'd lose my mind. You don't know how bad I want. Like, number 2 things I want in life are... Wait, what did I say? 2 things that I want number 1 in my life. What? That's again the wrong sentence backwards. 2 of the things that I want the most in my life, third time's a charm, is Super Mario RPG 2 and another entry in the Chrono series.
Wait, haven't they done both of those, just not in the same way? Like, they did Chrono Cross as a sequel to Chrono Trigger, and then Paper Mario was the spiritual successor.
Correct.
Yeah.
Paper Mario was originally called Super Mario RPG 2 or something, or not Super, but just Mario RPG 2 or something weird during the beta stages when it was on the 64. But then they ended up calling it, what would they call it? Mario Story in Japan. And the last thing I want to say about like just crazy wish list things is I want to see another Tokyo Mirage Sessions game. I want to see Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp Metroid or Sharp
That'd be fun.
Nintendo.
That'd
you know
be
what
a
I
lot
mean?
of fun.
Like, keep the TMS brand going, but every single time it's a different Nintendo franchise. Just, it would be great. Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE was a fantastic game on the Wii U. I would love to see that game ported to the Switch. God, do it.
I would love to see a Sharp Hyrule. I mean,
yeah, Sharp Zelda.
He's jumped into every other like genre. Why not that one?
That game was so good. So that does it for our crazy E3 wish list and arguing about E3. Tune in next week to see what the hell actually happens at E3.
Let's see how wrong we were.
Galen's the wronger.
Next week is going to be an intense episode.
Yeah. And it's going to be another long one, just like this one's a long one. And holy crap, I'm going to have to like reduce the audio quality on these because we have to upload 5 episodes this month. And we got a cap on data, you know, so I got to reduce the audio quality. It sucks.
Just replace my voice on all of them. That'll just do the trick.
Ouch. Zap.
Oni. Oni? Oni. Well, that was our podcast.
So let's move on over to some additional DLC.
Yeah.
This week, I am recommending a general YouTube channel, Super Derek RPGs on YouTube. He's just nice and relaxing and positive. He's got a smooth voice, and just listening to him is like taking a deep breath and having a sip of tea. It's nice, and you don't see nice like that on the internet too much. You see people being outrageous and screaming and getting mad. So Super Derek is a nice yin to that yang. Lately, he's been doing like a weekly JRPG update thing, which is great. He talks about modern and classic JRPGs. He also talks about the offshoots of that, like Western stuff and SRPGs, all that kind of stuff too. So if you're really into that genre like I am, you'll enjoy his channel. He's a nice guy.
Very cool.
How about you, Galen? What you got?
This week, I have a card game.
Yeah.
Frequent listeners will know that I'm always a bit of a nerd when it comes to those kind of things.
He loves his decks.
This week is actually a game called DC Deck Building Game. It's done by a company called Cryptozoic, and it's a fun game because everybody starts with the exact same deck. And there are a number of cards that are on the board, and you go ahead, and when it's your turn, you go ahead and play all the cards that are in your hand, which will give you a number of power or some currency of points. You use that to buy cards that are on the board, which then get replaced, but that card goes into your deck, shuffles it up, and you draw a brand new hand utilizing the cards that you buy. So it's this constant evolution of, building your deck into something unique based on how it is. No two games are ever the same, which I greatly appreciate in a lot of card games and board games. I linked a tutorial video that actually Cryptozoic has put out, and what I also like is that they use something called the Cerberus engine itself. And I know that doesn't mean much, but it's a game-playing mechanic that they extrapolate into other versions of their card games. So if, DC Comics isn't your thing, well, they also have one based on Street Fighter. They also have one based on Naruto. They also have one based on Rick and Morty. And all of them play the exact same way. They just have unique features that are thematic to their game. But you can also, because they use the same mechanics, you can also mix and match them as much as you want. My my personal bit of satisfaction was the time that I was able to get Batman to do a Hadoken against Blanca, who had, oh god, what was it? It was like Wonder Woman's whip or something like that. It was really weird because you just combine those two games together and then boom, there you go.
That sounds like the kind of absurd humor that goes good with drinking.
It's a lot of fun. So definitely check it out. I really like it.
So now let's move on to my favorite segment. What is it, Galen?
The part where you yell at me a bunch? Or listener mail. Listener mail. That's the one. Listener mail! Listener mail.
Thank you so much for playing my game.
Yo, what up, everybody? So we hammered you with threats and told you to send us in some emails. And
well, you delivered.
Yeah, y'all came through. We got lots of emails this week, which is fantastic. We actually can't read them all this week.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to save one of them for sure for next week. But we still need lots of emails. So good job, first off. And where the hell were you a couple of weeks ago? And keep them coming. Send us your emails to nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com.
That email one more time is nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com. And that's pod, P-O-D.
Yeah, like podcast. What else would it be? What are you talking? What?
Bod? Nintendo Everything Bod? Could be if you want to do those, like Hyrulean fitness
You
challenges.
are the worst. What are you? Nintendo Everything Bod, the fitness gym for losers.
I'd subscribe to it. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my God. Anyway, I love hearing from our listeners, so do keep them coming, guys. So this first email that we got is from one of our most lovely listeners. Her name is Leanne.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, do I hate her right now because apparently in the listener mail segment, you guys can get us to say goofy and dumb stuff by writing in.
Yep.
So here we are opening the floodgates. Go on, Galen.
So Leanne writes in, Hey y'all, Leanne here. So I'm listening to episode 31, which is our last episode, and I'm at the point where Galen There's a note that says that she forgets how to spell my name. It is Galen, just so you guys know.
Yeah,
trust me.
Galene.
No E at the end. Trust me, I've heard every variation. It's just comes naturally. Anyway, I'm at the point where Galen starts singing Cadence of Hyrule release rap. My mind wouldn't stop thinking about it, and I just had to continue it. So, here it goes. Oni Dino, give Galen some sweet beats.
So, she wrote out 4 bars of well-metered lyrics and good lyrics about just rapping about Cadence of Hyrule coming out at E3. And now that we're forced to say them. And I think...
Forced? I feel privileged.
Yeah.
Liam, this is awesome. Send more stuff like this.
Do not send more
Alexei,
stuff like this.
Send all of this stuff.
No.
This is great.
So I have prepared a little bit of beats for this this rap.
Nice.
Are you ready, Galen?
I think I'm ready.
God. Here it goes. Take it away.
Cadence of Hyrule coming in June. Is it gonna be at E3 or is it too soon? I don't wanna rush cause rushed games flop. But I'll be very happy if it would shadow drop.
E3 is next week and hype's in the air. Games from Sega, Sony, Capcom, and Square.
AAA titans are what I tune in for, but this year there's an indie that I love to its core.
Crypta the Necrodancer is a masterpiece.
So I died on March 20th when I saw the teaser.
A true sequel where you still bounce in sync
And surprise, it features
Zelda and Link. Whether it drops or not, we'll have to wait and see.
The wait's not long cause it will be at E3.
I have my Switch next to me, I'll try not to drool when Nintendo finally gives us
Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid. Oh my god.
Nintendo boy.
No. No.
Does it not work like that?
This I'm trying to put myself in the boots of the listener. I wonder if this was so cringy. You know what I mean? Anyway, Leanne, we did it because we love having you as a listener and because we are dedicated to our listeners. Mm-hmm. And because you wrote in.
So remember, if you would like us to read out your lyrics, send them to nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com.
Please don't send any more lyrics to nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com.
But that's not the only email we got this week.
No, we got actually several more. However, we're only going to read one more, and that's from Mr. Max.
Max, we're gonna take your email in parts because you asked a couple of questions and they're good questions. So.
Yes, Max asked a whole bunch of really good questions and he got a bajillion questions in. However, it's pre-E3 stuff, so we have to do him justice. He wrote in.
All right, so Max writes in, I've been listening for a couple months now, and I do have one sarcastic question to start with, which I should have sent sooner. Do you really believe that Nintendo Treehouse Live won't feature at least an hour of Pokemon Sword and Shield?
Now, I'm wondering about this. Max, did I say that I don't think that it's going to be in the Treehouse Live? Because, I don't know, I say things and I forget them. You guys get to listen to them and it's like, it's in stone, you know? So, I really do think that it will be at Treehouse Live, though.
Yeah, I think it will be too. I don't think we'll see a whole lot, but we'll be able to see like the freedom of movement with the camera, which is, again, it's a really weird thing to get excited for, but I'm actually really excited about that aspect. So I think we'll see some of it.
I am too. That's what I'm most excited for.
He goes on to say, I don't think that is possible unless it's not ready to be demoed or Game Freak made the decision that spending time on making a demo isn't worthwhile. That does bring up a good point too. Will we see a demo of the new Pokemon game? They have done that for the past couple of ones. I think it's safe to assume they'll probably do it on this one too.
Do you mean like a demo like for people to download on their Switches for the public?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be way down the road, like
When we get
even
closer.
post-launch.
Yeah. But they've always had some sort of a promotion where, hey, if you go through all of Sun and Moon, you get Ash's Greninja or something weird like that. I know that was a promotion at some point. I don't know if it was Sun and Moon, but we've seen that kind of a thing before, and they usually emphasize that with new IPs. So they might actually make mention of it during the direct, but I don't know.
I don't think they would. It's too soon for that.
Yeah.
They'll mention it later on when they do another direct, like in, I don't know, say not November. You're screwing me up on my months. In September or October, when they're doing another direct about the holidays and getting people hyped up to do the pre-orders, they'll also be like, and now you can download the demo, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's entirely possible. I'm not going to throw that out there, but I also believe that Nintendo won't not mention Pokemon during this, even though they did just have a direct like earlier this week, or I guess by the time this comes out last week. But it's going to be a very brief mention of that. So, all right. So he continues to write. Okay. Now for things I'd like to ask you if this reaches you before E3. Congratulations.
It did, dude. Thank you for writing in.
Number 1. Will there be Pokemon that walk behind our character? Maybe just even little ones, like a kind of partner Pokemon.
I would love that.
I would love that. I don't think it's going to happen, though, personally.
It could, but I'm going to lean toward no. But my God, I would love that. That would just add so much more personality and just more excitement to what you're doing in the world.
Exactly. And if they did that, I think they could also implement something on the personality types of the Pokemon, because every Pokemon has that, rash, bashful, timid. If you could somehow have a partner Pokemon who exemplifies that nature, I think that would be so cool to see, but I don't think it's just ready yet. I don't think that's what they're focusing on.
That is an awesome idea, Galen. That's the kind of stuff that I want to see in a new generation Pokemon. But I mean, considering how they've like not even touched the models barely, they're not even going to add emotions on their faces. Look at those stupid Pokaiju Pokafloat things. They look lifeless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I would love that. That would be so cool. And then like you'd be like, oh, this is my Slurpuff. It's dumb. Its personality is dumb. Have you seen its tongue hanging out of its mouth?
I definitely think that this would be a quality of life improvement, but I don't think it is the focus on what they are putting their efforts into right now.
Oh, I love this idea. Max, you got great ideas.
Yeah. Number 2 that he writes in, will there be any kind of delay between Switchamon and Pokemon Home? I like Switchamon. And thus a period when previously bred Pokemon can't be carried over. I haven't used my NDS2 XL, which I kind of realize is like one of the longest acronyms I've seen in a while, in maybe a year, so maybe I should check on that. I think this is referring to the delay between Pokemon Home and Pokemon on Switch, because they said that the Home was coming out early next year, right? Am I misremembering that?
Yeah, it's coming out definitely after the release of Sword and Shield.
Yeah. I know there's going to be a delay between those two. I don't think it's going to interfere with anything, especially because the same company who's developing both games are the same person. So, quite obviously, they can like move members around and make sure everything flows properly.
Let's think here, though, because without the use of Pokemon Home for that window where Sword and Shield are out, but Home is not, how would you get Pokemon from even Sun and Moon onto there? Because if the Switch is not compatible with Pokemon Bank and they're not doing like wireless communication trading, then how are you going to get them on there?
Well, they can do this
Without
one of two ways. They can either A, have Pokemon Bank be the primary method of moving things between Pokemon games, and then B, Pokemon Home being the hub that accesses that.
Yes, but I mean before Home is even out.
No. I know. It's like people can still use Pokemon Bank now. That's still a thing. It's just I'm saying that Pokemon Home won't affect transferring the Pokemon between previous generations' version of Pokemon. You won't be able to move over your Let's Go characters or your Pokemon Go characters, but that's what Pokemon Home will do for you.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about before Home comes out and when Sword and Shield are out, say you want to move some Pokemon over from any of your past ones, you can't do that yet.
You can use it with Bank.
No, because
but Bank's out now.
The Switch is not compatible with Bank.
Did they say that?
No, but they've not said that Switch is compatible with Bank. There's not a Pokemon Bank app, and they're not going to introduce Pokemon Bank onto the Switch before Pokemon Home when it's a dying application.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't know if it is a dying application. We know very little about what Pokemon Home will actually do.
It's going to replace Bank.
Is it going to replace Bank, or is it going to work in tandem with Bank?
It's going to replace Bank. Pokemon
See,
Bank is only on the 3DS, and the 3DS is on its way out. Like, it's going to communicate with Pokemon Bank so you can get your Pokemon out of Bank, but it's not like you work with it on the Switch or something.
I'm just saying they've put a lot of effort into Pokemon Bank up until this point. It doesn't make a lot of sense for them to get rid of Pokemon Bank as a whole and switch over to Pokemon Home. Like, it doesn't make sense to make them work in tandem with each other and then get rid of one part of that altogether. Because once they get rid of that, well, what if you didn't put your Pokemon on Pokemon Bank?
That's going to be something that they're going to be talking about in, 6 years from now or something, when they're like, hey, we're shutting down the servers for Pokemon Bank. You guys have to remove your Pokemon from Pokemon Bank, otherwise they're going to be gone forever. But Pokemon Bank is not going to be getting any new updates or any new anything like that. Like, that is just... Home is replacing Bank, is what I'm saying.
I don't think so. I think Home is
How do you think Pokemon Bank is going to live on?
By being Pokemon Bank.
But on a hardware that they don't support?
I have not seen anything of what Pokemon Home is going to do specifically. Like, they've mentioned, yes, you can trade your Pokemon and you can gather your Pokemon together, but why wouldn't they just say, hey, Pokemon Bank is becoming Pokemon Home? They went in
because that's not what it is. Pokemon Home is going to be a new thing, but it's going to be replacing what the features of Pokemon Bank was for your 3DS.
They didn't say that, though.
That's what's totally going to happen.
Okay, we agree to disagree on this one. But
I'm going to agree to slap you as soon as I'm right. Anybody got feelings on this, you tell me, whether you're on my side or on Galen's side.
I am going to go unslapped so hard.
I will jump up and slap you.
That was a weird sentence. Moving on before something happens. I don't know what, but number 3 question that Max writes in. Will we be able to make clans or some such for our raiding bunnies? Buddies. Wow, I'm gonna read you that whole thing. Max asks,
this is all staying in.
Will we be able to make our clans or some such for our raiding buddies?
All staying in. All of that.
I don't know.
You suck.
I don't believe that Nintendo has the infrastructure currently or the foresight to think about this kind of a thing where clans would be necessary.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to say that, yes, they will do this, but it's going to be a mostly cosmetic thing, just to be like, oh, I'm team whatever the hell or something like that. Just like when you go on an online fighter, or Smash Bros has this, where you choose like your little icon or something like that. It's going to be like that, but you can choose like what group out of the 4 or 5 groups that you belong to. People love to do that kind of thing, especially with Pokemon. So I could really see them putting something like that in. But it would be really cool if like the blue team won or something like that. And then you just being on the blue team, you get a little bonus. That'd be cool.
Possibly. And I mean, I will go ahead and propose that this is something that we can definitely see later down the line. But I feel like the idea of making clans is more prominent to a more social gaming aspect. I feel like this is very much still a single player experience with multiplayer elements being brought into it. If the multiplayer elements were the primary focus on this, I think we would get clans. I don't think we're at that point just yet.
Yeah, but they are trying to implement more online features into their major games to get people to buy that crappy Nintendo Switch Online service. So
yeah, I know that's entirely true, but I don't know. I would need to hear more about the specifics of how this whole rating thing is, because we don't even know if it's multiplayer is going to be a factor in this or if it is just local wireless.
I disagree.
Okay, this is another disagreement one.
You are always
Max,
on the opposite.
what are you doing to us?
You are always on the opposite of my logic.
You were the one who disagreed with me.
Yes, because I think that you're on the wrong side of logic.
Question number 4. Following on from that, will there be persistent hangout spaces for battling and or finding raid mates? And if there is something like clans or teams or sword doggo or shield doggo, can we build or decorate our own clubhouses, a bit like dojos in Warframe?
Oh, that would be awesome. Max, you have so many good ideas.
Yeah, this is an awesome feature. I would love to see that. I have to err on the side of skepticism, though. I don't think this is the game that Nintendo is going, or Game Freak is going to do this for.
Yeah, because you do have to wonder, right? So you go to that little purple portal on the world, and then you do a raid with somebody. Like, how are you finding those matches, right? Like, where's the lobby that you go to or whatever?
Yeah, Pokemon has historically taken their advancements in tiny steps.
Yeah, they're very careful.
Yeah, it's, pardon the pun, but their games have been a slow evolution, not just a dramatic change.
Shut up, this stupid little pun.
With that said, though, I definitely see this kind of being the way that they want to go. Like, I, for years, have been wanting Pokemon to come out with a Pokemon MMO, something that incorporated multiple regions and that people could travel along with to catch different Pokemon in different areas as opposed to one singleized region. If they were to do that, they could really focus on the multiplayer aspect of this and make it some of these things like clans and hangout spaces and things like that into the game. But I don't think we're there yet. I think that this whole calling it as a raid is more in name and spirit more than actual functionality.
I guess I agree with you, but I'm a little bit more optimistic that there's going to be something for the waiting lobby.
Yeah. And I mean, that's entirely fine. I really hope they put something like that in there, because being able to customize a house, that's awesome. Making clubhouses in Ruby and Sapphire was one of my favorite things ever to do. And when you happen to come across your friend's, hidden base when you were mining for stuff, that was a sweet feeling. So elements of the game prove that it can definitely work, and there is room for customization like that. Question number 5. Is there a chance of a 2x speed for Daemon Ex Machina? There we go. Somebody's still asking about it. So that it looks and now plays like Zone of the Enders.
Yeah! Max is my boy. I would love that.
That'd be
God,
really cool.
I would love that. I hope that they add something like that. Because, yes, it does play kind of slow and kind of methodical. But I would love to see what it feels like with the 2x speed.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet.
Especially in those dogfights that you have with the bigger enemies. With the smaller enemies, it's a little bit weird. But, yeah. Zone of the Enders, man.
Man, I would like to see that happen. And, hey, maybe that's some of the changes that they're making in this. You never know.
That would be really cool if that was one of the changes, because if they were trying to speed up the battles or something, because they clearly are like, no, we need ideas because we're trying to figure things out. They released a prototype demo, which was weird. That prototype demo thing should have been happening earlier in development rather than, oh, it's coming out in summer, you know? So they definitely are trying to figure something out.
And finally, question number 6. Is anyone... Wow, 6 questions. I don't know if we had a listener writing with so many questions before.
We have not. This is the best question, too.
Nice. Is anyone from the PS2's Chaos Legion working on Astral Change? And can your character actually combine with their stand-em-on?
Best question, but you screwed it up a little bit. You said Astral Change. It's Astral Chain.
I thought I said Astral Chain.
We got it on tape.
Play it back! Astral Change. Astral Change. Astral Change.
On tape? Oh my god, I'm showing my age.
Anyway, we'll rewind to that.
Hell yes, Max bringing up Chaos Legion. Who is this person? Why aren't we friends yet? Chaos Legion was from an era of PS2 games. There were so many hack and slash games at that time that were these drab, dreary, early 2000s J-Rock-esque nonsense aesthetics. And that was not a great game, but my god, I loved that game to death. Fun fact, Chaos Legion was actually based off of a book or a sequel to a book or something. I don't remember. It was stupid. But you were like a fighter guy, like a Koei Tecmo, swords slashing guy, and it was all anime garbage. And then you had these, we'll just call them stands. The dudes called them stand-em-ons for Astral Chain. Perfectly fine. Chaos Legion had these stands, or these familiars that you had, and you could choose between them, and they were called like all different kinds of things. I remember there was one called Malice, and I think it was the crossbow guy, and you could level up their abilities and level up like how many of them appeared on the stage as well. I want to say that like Malice even went up to like 8, but then there were some, I think, that only went up to like 2 maybe, and they all did different things, and they were your different buddies, and it was super repetitive gameplay, but man, did I love that game.
That's really cool.
Oh, it was bad. It was no good. Anyway, anybody from that game working on Astral Chain? That is a great question.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be super interesting if somebody from Chaos Legion is working on Astral Chain, because Chaos Legion was a Capcom developed and produced title. Looking up the wiki, the developers were Capcom Production Studio 6. So perhaps some of the smaller guys from them did move on, because this was around the time that Clover Studios moved on and became Platinum eventually.
Yeah. And you'd be surprised on, how frequently developers like this kind of move around in the industry.
Yeah, there's so many overlaps with those two games, especially now that you bring it up. It would be awesome to know. So we know for sure that it wasn't like the producer or the director. Those two guys are still with Capcom and have been making games as recently as Street Fighter.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not them, but maybe the small guys. And then he says, what did he say? Can your character actually combine with their stand-em-on? Which is exactly what they are. They're a friggin' JoJo's stand meets a Pokemon. And combining with them to create an Ultra Warrior or something, that would be super dope. And that would be super cool if that was part of the story, because there's going to be a super dramatic story to this game for sure.
Of course.
I would love, and Platinum does this kind of thing a lot in their storytelling, and the guy that is oh god, I can't remember off the top of my head if he's producer or director, but he was the guy that did the level design for Nier Automata, and it would be really interesting if he brought in some of those, what is it to be human kind of thoughts, like food for thought, into a game like this.
Yeah.
We still don't even really know what the story is about. We know so very little about this game that's coming out in 2.5 months.
We'll just have to wait and see. Maybe we'll find out more about it at E3.
I'm going to ask that question. Can your character combine with their stand-em-on when I go and do hand touching on it on the E3s?
Do you have an appointment with them or something? Dun, dun.
Listen,
I think that about covers it. Now to sit
Hold
back
on, I
and-
just want to say that your jealousy is not cute.
It's not supposed to be cute. It's supposed to reveal something dark.
What? I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
That was a good impression. Yo, thanks, Max. Let's sit back and wait to see what is revealed, just like he says. Thank you
Exactly.
for those ridiculous amounts of questions. You're lucky that it was right before E3, and we read all of them. No, you're not lucky. I'm sorry. That sounds really mean. No, thank you very much for writing in. And also, if you want to write in, you can send us in an email.
Send that email to nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com.
What's wrong with your mouth today?
Did I just say not.com?
It's like you had like milk and honey and ketchup all at the same time, and your mouth is stuck.
That sounds disgusting.
Let's go.
So what is coming up? What is coming out on Nintendo Everything? I forgot to ask.
All of the news.
I don't know.
Ever.
So I can guess. Some amazing E3 coverage. This is the week that none of us sleep, and it's going to be pretty crazy, but we are on top of things. You can always count on us having instant coverage of all of these things. We're going to have exclusive coverage for you too. We got boots on the ground. We're going to be bringing you exclusive direct capture gameplay, interviews, impressions, all kinds of good stuff. This is Nintendo Everything's big year for E3. It's never been bigger. That's what I said, Galen.
All right. I'll let that kind of sit there.
So stay connected with Nintendo Everything by checking out our website and staying on our Twitter @NinEverything, and of course our YouTube, where we're going to be uploading all kinds of stuff. youtube.com/NinEverything. And then you can follow my tweets live from E3 @Oni_Dino. And I'll also be surely putting some stuff on my Instagram. You'll be seeing my face since my face is revealed. That's @Oni__Dino for the Instagram.
If you haven't seen Oni yet, he has very long hair.
Yeah, they could tell that by my avatar. My pixel avatar.
I'd buy that.
What? Anyway, Galen, what are you going to be doing this week, and where can they find you?
You can definitely find me on Twitter @Mobius087, and I don't know, take a picture of a cat or something. I don't know.
No drunk karaoke?
I was. So we didn't go, and it hurts my soul.
Oh.
I really wanted to go.
Oh. Won't somebody be his karaoke buddy by following him on Twitter?
Oh, please do. We actually, you know what? We can do one of those videos where we do like side by side karaoke things. My honest karaoke request would be anything by Tenacious D. I specifically like tribute. Send me your tributes.
Yeah, you and I have sang some Tenacious D together in many a carpool karaoke.
A carpool. We have stood in karaoke and done that. I think I have that video somewhere still. If I can find that, I will put it up on Twitter because you've seen his face now.
Do not do that.
I will do that.
Do not do that.
I will find the video.
We were drinking, and I'm sure I sounded like crap. Anyway, wow, another long episode. I think this one's probably going to be longer than last week's episode, and then the next week's episode is going to be even longer, and this is a nightmare. Welcome, and thank you for listening to my nightmare, everybody. Stay tuned for next week for all the E3 coverage and for everything Nintendo.
Stay tuned to Nintendo Everything.
Bye-bye.
Later. I was going to do an outro with that Pokemon name, but I can't remember what you called me.
Dump Scorch.
Dumb Scorch, Dumb Scorch.
It'd be like, dump, dump, dump.
Dump, 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 dump. Now that's just turning into dubstep.